We are live. How are you doing
Hello,
today, Nick?
YouTube.
Yes,
I'm
hello,
doing
YouTube.
well.
Nick,
I'm
you are famouser than famous today.
famouser than famous. That's right.
Famouser
That's
than
right.
famous. I was perusing a New York Times Magazine article, and who should I find buried deep on page 6 or 7? Nicholas Reyes himself, and the story of the naming of your son.
It's going to be like my tagline on social media from now on. Right underneath my face, it's going to say, as seen in the New York Times Magazine.
That's right. You need like a little bubble to follow you around that just says that. So anyone
right. They'll just know. They'll recognize. So I'm sure everybody read it. Compelling piece today, but but yeah, I made a little bit of an appearance anyway. Thanks to FTU, because we spoke at FTU about manufactured spending, and so I guess there was a reporter there listening in. Who would have known?
Right. So. And so what we learned from it is that you were well groomed. So that was really good news.
I was happy I shaved that morning. I when the fact checker contacted me and said that they needed to verify some things. They said that the author had written that I was wearing an open collared shirt and a fedora and had a neatly trimmed goatee, and he asked if that was accurate. And I said, well, my wife will be happy to hear that much, but sure. Yes, neatly trimmed. I agree. So glad that they were making sure to confirm all of the key details on that piece before it went live.
Right. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
All right.
So we're supposed to let people ask us anything. What's our first question for them?
Well, Grant asks us a question. Grant says, hey, Greg and Nick, with all the new AMEX Platinum personal and business AMEX offers that came out this week, which offers are you most excited about? So what are you excited about, Greg? I mean, there's tons. There's a lot going on.
There is, yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, one thing, before I get into the individual offers, one thing that's really interesting is that the new offers all say these are for cardholders who've had their cards as of November 1st of 2020. That's something new that we haven't seen before from Amex, where they're basically saying, they're sort of like retention offers in a way that I think the thinking behind this is like, if you're a brand new customer, we don't need to do anything yet to keep you around. We know you just signed up. So
you presumably got a welcome bonus. You wanted the card just like,
exactly. So you don't, if you signed up in November, like COVID preventing you from using the travel perks is not a good argument to say why you're not happy with the card, right? You knew about COVID in November, so
it wasn't a secret. If you could read, you knew what was going on, right?
Right. So I don't know. I just find that kind of fascinating, and it'll be interesting to see if any other banks do things similar.
Yeah. So it's actually the second time we've seen that, right? Because they did that with the Delta spending offers, the spending offers for the status boost last year, right? You had to have the card before July something or other.
They did. You're right.
So that's something that they debuted mid-year last year, and now, this is the first time we've seen it on this wide of a scale. With this many different offers, and really with this level of interesting in terms of credits, and whereas the Delta thing was just spending towards elite status, this is like cash money, so to speak. There's a lot of money out there. I mean, how much does it add up to?
I'm not sure, but you have the PayPal thing, which isn't literally an Amex offer, but it's just something even new Amex Platinum card holders can get. That's $30 a month for 6 months, $180. Then there's the Best Buy, $100. $100
like
of free Best Buy stuff.
Right.
And same thing with Home Depot. $100 worth of free Home Depot stuff.
Right. So, I mean, who doesn't need something at Best Buy or Home Depot?
Right.
It's free.
Right. I mean, a lot of people are asking about, like, how can we get gift cards with the Home Depot thing? Because with Best Buy, it's easy. But I mean, come on, there must be something at Home Depot that you'd be happy to have.
Right?
I mean, it's like,
exactly.
maybe you're not like desperate to get something there, but there's got to be something. I mean, from batteries to light bulbs to small kitchen appliances, you name it.
Right. And back in the day when it was an Amex offer and you could have like 99 authorized users that all have the same offer. Okay, I can see where you weren't going to buy that many light bulb switches. And so you needed to find another use. But like $250 credits. Come on, there's stuff at Home Depot. You just buy some stuff you need.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Oh, and get it for free. I mean, that's awesome. So, I mean, that's $200 there that is like pretty close to cash value, because most people are going to spend that money or close to it anyway, somewhere on something that they needed. So,
Right.
So that's nice. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that, may or may not be useful.
So yeah, are you planning to get in on any of those other ones?
No, because we didn't have a personal platinum card open before November 1st.
Right,
so
right,
that's
right,
what I thought when Grant asked this question was, I'm not really excited about many of them at all, because we didn't have that before November 1st. So I don't have any of the personal ones, and the business ones. I mean, the +4 points per dollar. I mean, it's +4 at office supply stores, which that's not particularly exciting because there's plenty of 5X going on there with Chase, and Amex probably isn't going to appreciate the gift card purchases. So that doesn't really excite me. I'm not spending a lot on any of those other, any of those other categories are covered by 5X with a Chase card with, I don't know, less concern anyway. The only thing
or we have 10X gas with
10X gas,
new platinum card, so we don't need 5X
gas. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
So I wasn't like last year, 5X gas. Come on.
Right. 2020, 2019. That was exciting. But right. So those don't really excite me, although I'm marginally interested, not excited at all, but marginally interested to see what else might code to qualify with Amex for any of those things, because we just don't know, because a lot of those are like office supply stores. I don't know. I guess there's the Simply Cash. There is a card, an Amex card, that has earned 5X at office supply stores. But for example, I'm looking to buy a new laptop, and so I was curious if HP would code as 5X on the platinum card with that new offer. It doesn't seem like an office supply store to me, but I don't know how they code. So I bought like a wireless mouse last night for a few dollars just to see how it codes. So I'm maybe marginally interested in that. But yeah, those statement credits for personal platinum card holders are awesome if you have.
Right. How about, the other interesting one is the Blue Business Plus, $25 back on each $500 purchase. So if you could figure out how to break up insurance payments and other things like that where you can do 500 plus at a time.
Yeah.
It's like nice. That's nice free-ish money there too.
Yeah, it sure is. I wish I could pay my health insurance with an Amex card. They only take Visa and MasterCard, but that'd be perfect for that. But there's plenty of other types of things.
If only Pictalkey hadn't turned off Amex support.
Right. Thanks for that.
That would have been really nice. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but that's a good offer. It's like an extra 5% as long as you split it up into $500 payments and an extra 5% on top of 2X. Hey, that's
right.
Nothing
it's
to sneeze
solid.
at.
It's not like exciting as in like free stuff, but it's very solid.
But really, it is. It's like $250 worth of free stuff, sort of. Right?
Sort of. But you have to sort of engineer. Like a lot of people are talking about things like it's worth paying the plastic fee, the 2.85% fee, because you're getting 5% back, so you're still making a profit, but by the time you look at that, it's like not a lot of money, but it's still, it's still, you're right. It's still free. It's still free money. So I just lost my sound. I don't know if that's me or you. It looks like it's you because your microphone.
Oh, you know what? So something's going on with my mouse here, and it's like randomly clicking stuff. And so it clicked to mute me is what happens. So
you sure your son isn't like hiding under the desk and like
the mouse is here? I'm like, what's going on? I guess I need to restart. Maybe I got to do a little virus scan here. But at any rate, so that's what I'm excited about for now. I'm also excited to see what comes with the co-branded cards. I want to know what's gonna happen on those.
Right. And unfortunately, like any other time, I would have been telling people, if you don't already have a Marriott or Hilton card, you might want to get one now in preparation. But now I think they're going to have the same terms, probably saying you have to have had it since November 1st. So I wouldn't rush out and get one of those cards for that reason.
Right. Agreed.
But there'll probably be good offers, 6 months from now that would include you. So just something to think about. All right, let's go on to the next question. Just some guy asked, want to pick up both the Chase Freedom Flex and Unlimited. One now for the 5X grocery and the other in 6 months. Which one is likely to have another elevated sign-up bonus later in the year, like the 3% for 1 year on Freedom Unlimited a while back, etc.? Currently holds Chase Freedom and Chase Sapphire Preferred.
I mean, I don't personally think we're going to see a better bonus on either of those cards. Like, I mean, is it going to get better than 5x grocery and 20,000 points? That 3x everywhere bonus, it was exciting the time, like for a few minutes here or there where they did it uncapped, but I don't think it's likely to come back uncapped for a year. So then you're looking at 3x on $20,000 worth of spend. So I mean, it's not bad, but you're talking about $20,000 worth of spend to generate 60,000 points, whereas the current offer, 12,000 spend at the grocery store alone is going to generate 60,000. Now, not all of that's bonus points, 40, depending on which one you get, 40-ish thousand of those points are bonus, plus the 20 that you get for the welcome bonus on the card. I mean, you're at the same 60 with a lot less spend. So I don't really think it's going to get better. Will that 3x on 20K come back? I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like the current bonus seems appealing to me. So I don't know. Do you think something different about that?
Well, I think what he's asking is he is planning on getting in on this current bonus.
Yes,
one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's basically saying,
which one?
Which one's likely to have an elevated bonus when he's ready to get the other one, right? So
do you have any thoughts about?
No idea.
Yeah.
I guess because the flex is new, there might be more interesting things happening there, but they tend to, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either.
It would be anyone's guess. I think the other thing just sort of about that grocery offer is that Chase has kind of devalued it in a way by doing all of these 5x bonuses on other cards. So, if you're manufactured spender still and you can buy gift cards at the grocery store, then probably you can max out all of these offers. But if you're not, you got to pick where you're going to do where you're going to get your grocery bonus, and between the Platinum 10x for 6 months and all these near-term 5x opportunities, I still think it's a good offer, but it's not as great as it was when it wasn't competing for other grocery bonuses.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I wouldn't probably go after that over, and that's a tough statement to make, but I wouldn't go after that over the Platinum card 10x at grocery stores right now, except that if you're under 524, then you have to consider, do I want to get it now? Well, I'm still under 520. It gets a little complicated.
Sure does.
But I think your strategy is right to go after one now and another 6 months from now. I don't think it's really going to matter which one.
I mean, you'll be lucky if you happen to pick the right one, and if it even matters, then
if it even matters,
chances are it won't.
Yeah. All right. So Greg asks us next, not you, Greg, but the other Greg asks us if you have already received a bank account bonus and don't want to keep the account, but there's still time left to avoid the early termination fee. Is it safe to withdraw all of the funds? Well, that's going to, or is there a risk that the bank will close your account before the early termination fee period ends and somehow claw back money from you? So basically what he's asking is, if you open an account for the new bank account bonus and you're not interested in keeping it, but that account has a minimum amount of time it's got to stay open. Some banks will say it's got to stay open 180 days. Is it safe to take all of the money out, or might they close it for having a zero balance? Right? Understanding the question, right?
Yeah. So basically, he wants to avoid the fees, right? The monthly fees that the bank account charges. So he's gotten his bonus. Let's avoid the fees by basically closing the account early.
Well, but he doesn't want to close it early. I think what he's saying is he wants to take all of the money out, but he's concerned that once he takes all the money out, that maybe they'll close the account early and charge him an early termination fee. My bigger concern would be account fees, like what Greg's saying, that if that account has a monthly fee of some sort and you don't have any money in there, it's going to be overdrawn. So you got to make sure you're meeting whatever requirements there are to avoid the monthly fee. Now, if it's an account with no monthly fees, zero balance and no activity, some banks will close your account for that. And then, yeah, maybe they will assess you an early termination fee. So I would leave something in there, leave $5 in there, $10 in there, something like that. Even if you leave $2 in there, it should be enough to keep it active if the account doesn't have a minimum balance or minimum activity threshold. Now, what I do with accounts like that is I just automate a deposit and withdrawal every month into them to keep them active. So that way there's not a concern. Like I have a few accounts set up to just automatically move $10 here and move $10 back there, from each direction in order to keep them active.
What do you use that lets you automate that?
A lot of the ACH tools, like just on the bank website, will let you set a recurring transfer that you can set weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, and then you can set it for like years in advance. So I have a few of those set for just years to every other week make a deposit. Because one time I got hit with a fee with an account that it was like there was a monthly fee if you didn't meet whatever the requirements were, and they cut my statement after like 3 weeks. So I had something set automatically monthly, but because they cut one statement early, I ended up getting hit with a fee. So now I do it every other week.
That's crazy stuff.
It was crazy. I was like, you got to be kidding me. How are you going to cut the statement like earlier than every other statement by like a week? It just didn't make sense. Anyway.
All right. So keep a few dollars in there.
Keep a few dollars
keep some activity going.
That's
all right. Next question's from EB. Hyatt Globalist. What's the easiest way to obtain it now?
What's the easiest way to obtain it? Well, Greg is the authority on the easiest way to obtain it. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, right now it's kind of hard not to obtain it.
right. Easiest way is to, wake up and get out of bed in the morning.
The first thing you have to do, go to our post that's titled Ludicrously Easy Top Tier Status with Hyatt, and find there's a section on all the overlapping offers, and in there everyone has a link for to enroll in that offer that's going on at the same time. Just make sure you're enrolled in all of them. I think one of them ends like today or tomorrow for enrollment. It was a minor one though. It's not a big deal, but most of them end I think on the 15th of this month for enrollment. Make sure you're enrolled. And then the easiest way to get Globalist is to, once you're enrolled in that bonus journeys promotion, is book 15 nights worth of stays between now and latest checkout of February 28th of this year. And those 15 nights will double. And so you'll have 30 nights. And because they're only requiring 30 nights to get to Globalist this year, you'll be done. You can also get a shortcut by signing up for the Hyatt credit card, and that'll give you 5 elite nights. You could spend on that card to get additional elite nights. So you could fairly easily get about, let's say, 10 elite nights from that activity. And then you only need 10 nights of stays between now and end of February. That's another way to do it. So those are the two sort of high level options I'd be looking at.
Keep in mind that the nights you earn from the credit card, the 5 nights you get each year, and any nights you get from credit card spend are not double.
Right. Now we lost your sound again, but he's
got it back on. So it popped right up. So yeah,
we got the gist.
Greg's cat here is wreaking havoc on things. I don't know.
His paw's coming across the wire. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on today. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's very, very easy right now. Keep in mind also though that the double nights, as you'll see in the post, may not post for at least a couple of weeks, because apparently Hyatt intends to post those every other week, even though the promo terms say they won't post until March. They're going to post sooner than that, but not necessarily right away. So if you check out from a 15-night stay, like 15 nights from now, don't expect you'll have Globalist status like the minute you check out. It may take a couple weeks before you get the rest of those nights.
Good point.
Okay. Paul asks us next. Hey, Greg and Nick, what co-branded credit cards would you suggest should have the highest priority? Top 5 while under 524, top 5 post 524. So which co-branded card should have the highest priority? This is another good question for you because you've basically written the guide on these.
Yeah, okay. So, while under 524, obviously we're talking about chase cards then that are highest priority, because those are the ones that you won't be eligible for once you're over 524. For Chase, the co-branded area, it's not a one size fits all. So, for example, a lot of people like to stay under 524 in order to apply for the Southwest cards every other year to keep the companion pass alive, ongoing. But if you're not a Southwest flyer or you don't have a companion to fly with, that might be less compelling to you. And then you start looking at like Marriott, Hyatt, IHG. We've talked before on this show and on our other show that I particularly like the Hyatt card because it lets you manufacture your way to Hyatt status. But if that's not your thing, then there's arguments to be made for why the IHG or the Marriott cards are better picks. Really, really depends on what your stay preferences are with those chains. And then on the credit card front, I do like the United card. Mainly, what I like is get in on the United card 70K offer while it's there. And then when the next year annual fee hits, downgrade it to their no fee card, which still has some of the benefits. It has the benefit of giving you better economy award availability on United flights and also last seat availability, which means you might not want to pay how much they want to charge, but they'll sell you a seat with miles even if they're almost completely full the flight.
Yeah. And you get the 25% bump when you buy gift cards to the Mileage Plus X app, even if you have the no fee card. So there are definitely some benefits to that card. So I feel like that one should be a priority. It should be. I don't know. That one, I think, is a good priority for a lot of people anyway. I would want that card. When it comes to the other ones, like Greg said, it depends on your stay preferences. And that's not necessarily because you need to have the Marriott card to pay for your Marriott stays, although that's an example, or maybe you would want it. But there are other cards that might bonus travel better than those cards do, in your opinion.
For sure.
The key is like which chain do you want elite status with? Because if you want it with Marriott, you're going to want to have one business and one personal card. Now that might be both on the Amex side. There's some reasons why you might prefer that. But I like having a Marriott one because you can upgrade to the Ritz card. So, so I think
we lost you again.
Go ahead. That's a worthwhile one to get. Yeah,
that's like your timer. We've been talking too long about.
Shut up, Nick. All right, next question. All right.
So I'm not gonna do. I don't think we should do the over 524. Unless, do you have like obvious ones in mind that are
the Aspire card, post 524. Oh,
okay.
The Aspire card for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That one's a great value, amazing value. So I think that one should be like definite. Maybe not in everybody's wallet, but I think in more.
I think you're right. That's the closest to a no-brainer co-branded card that I can think of. Yeah. And then maybe the Spirit card next. So
right. Because they are making it much more exciting.
The free Spirit credit card. Okay. Moving on. Right. Sean wants to know, hi guys, should I be trying to time the Hyatt SNA to spread them out, or do they all expire 14 months from the end of the year?
Okay, so Sean's asking, should you try to time out when you earn them because of when they're going to expire?
Sweet Night Awards.
Didn't they change that? Isn't it?
I think they did. They changed it to where they're good for the like sort of your elite year. So the rest of this year, all the next, and through February of the year after that.
Yeah, so that's the 14 months from the end of the year that he's talking about. Yeah, I thought that they had changed so what Sean's asking about is in the past, when they first launched the World of Hyatt program, they changed it from Hyatt Gold Passport to World of Hyatt. They worked it in this ridiculous way where whenever you earned your Sweet Night Awards, they were only valid for a year from that day, and then they'd expire. And that was ridiculous because it disincentivized people to stay at Hyatt so they could like time out when they get their Sweet Night Awards. So I think they realized at some point that was ridiculous and switched it to the 14 months from the end of the year. So I don't think it matters at all. The one thing you want to think about, though, is that the category 1 to 4 night that you get at 30 nights and the category 1 to 7 night that you get at 60 nights, those do expire in 6 months. Now, a reader told me that they thought they were all getting extended. I don't know. The one in my account that I got for hitting 30 nights this week when I checked out from my Hyatt mattress run is it says that it expires July 3rd. So that's a category 1 to 4. And then whenever the rest of my nights post, I'm going to get a category 1 to 7 that's valid for 6 months. In hindsight, probably should have booked the mattress run to only earn like 58 nights, so I could time out when time out when I want to get my category 1 to 7 cert to make it valid for a period of time that's more exciting to me, because I just don't know if I'm going to find a great use for category 1 to 7 in the next 6 months.
Right. But you had to be the guinea pig to find out like how soon the bonus nights would appear and all that.
Right. Thank you for making me feel better about that. So yeah, I don't think it matters, Sean. All right. So then Paul asks, why don't more people talk about the British Airways Companion Certificate? You can book 2 first-class tickets for 1 with that certificate. Thoughts, and then separately, thoughts on the Aeroplan credit card coming this fall. So let's start with the British Airways Companion Certificate. You can book 2 first-class tickets for the price of 1. Is that not the hottest deal in international travel, Greg?
No, the reason more people don't talk about it is because you have to book on British Airways Metal, and when you do, the fuel surcharges are astronomical. So you're talking about like well over $1,000 in fuel surcharges per ticket. So even when the companion's free, you're still paying those fuel surcharges. So it becomes a highly discounted first class ticket rather than like a free companion on a free award. So it's not that it's not a terrible deal. It's just that it's it's not a great deal that people are excited about because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most people that are into this game are into this game because they don't want to pay for the premium cabin price, right? So, if you are okay paying the premium cabin price, if you're someone who typically flies paid business class flights, well, then yeah, you might be like, oh, it's a great discount on a first class seat. I can get the first class seat for less than what the business class seat would cost me, presumably. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it's a good discount, but I don't want to pay $1,200 to sit, for my free ticket. Get out of here. Per passenger. I mean, we're talking no, come on, crazy. So if I wanted to do that, like the thing that bothers me the most about that is if I wanted to do that, there are occasional British Airways terrific discounts on first class, even between the US and Europe. So sometimes we see that in the 2000s, like in the $2,600 range or so, and you use your AARP discount, whatever else, it's somewhere in the mid 2000s sometimes to fly that paid first class, right, on British Airways. And then you credit that to Alaska Airlines and you earn like a base of 450% mileage flown, I think, or maybe it's even more in first class. Maybe it's 550 in first class. If you have elite status, you earn even more. So when you think about the value of the rebate you earn on that paid ticket, I get even less excited about the companion certificate. So it doesn't particularly interest me, but like Greg said, it could be a deal if you are ordinarily paying for tickets at that price or more. But to use miles plus like $1,200 a person, even for the person who's free, I mean, it doesn't interest me.
So Stephen has a little chime in here that he's gloating that he says my Hyatt certs have been extended to December 31st, 2021. Well,
so, but the difference is you earned them last year.
You lose, Nick.
but yeah. So and that's a good point. If you earned those certs last year, yes, they have been extended to December 31st. I don't know if the new ones that are issued this year have been extended yet. Like maybe they have, and I missed that, but I don't know that they are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Josh.
Next, Josh.
Yes, next. Hi, Greg and Nick. What is the best way to travel to London from LAX using AMEX MR points, membership rewards? Note, my plan to use Delta via Virgin Air disappeared recently. Although first we should say that God Save the Points was informed by a Virgin Atlantic rep that the new pricing won't actually apply to flights across the ocean, but we don't yet know what the new pricing will be. So specifically, like the transatlantic flights supposedly will have some other pricing that's probably more in line with what the pricing to fly Air France is, which is not bad. I don't expect though pricing to London to be good because even before, pricing to London was awful because they threw in ridiculously high fuel surcharges. Whereas if you fly Delta to like Amsterdam or Paris, then it's $5.60 and you pay whatever you pay. So in miles. So we're waiting to see about that. That might still be an option.
So your first best way, to fly to London via Amex membership rewards points is to fly to Dublin or Paris, and then take a train or a cheap flight or something else to get to London, because London adds the extra fees too. You get the extra premium cabin passenger fees and whatnot. So you might save money and get to see another city if you fly somewhere else. Now, cheapest off the top of my head from membership rewards points would probably be transferring to ANA for 88,000 points round trip on a Star Alliance carrier. So you're going to have to connect somewhere, but you can fly United, for instance, 88,000 round trip in business class, or
lost you again.
or all of the other Star Alliance carriers. So 88,000 would be your best bet. You want to stick with the ones that don't have high fuel surcharges, though. So United, I assume Air Canada now wouldn't have the high fuel surcharges booking via ANA.
Lost you again.
You keep answering. That's so annoying. I don't know what's going on there.
What about is Iberia an interesting option because they have such low cost, awards across the pond?
Maybe, but I can't remember what it is from Los Angeles because I always look at the East Coast based fares on Iberia. So
gotcha.
It's 34,000 one way in business class from New York or Boston to Madrid, but I don't remember how much it is from Los Angeles off the top of my head. And then you're going to pay a little bit more to get to London from there, but you'll pay less in fuel surcharges. So yeah, Iberia might be a good choice. It's probably not quite as cheap, but
yeah.
Pretty
you
good.
know what else I'd look at? I don't think it'd be as cheap as ANA, but it might be sort of easier to book. Is if there's, and there must be, Air Canada flights from LAX to Toronto and then onward to London using Air Canada's miles themselves. I was finding very good pricing using Air Canada miles to fly Air Canada. And I think they have a pretty nice product. So, and now they have no fuel surcharges. So
right.
Definitely look into that. It doesn't have to be through Toronto. It could be through Vancouver or something else as well.
Yeah. And with the ANA spot, keep in mind the ANA requires you to book round trip. So if you're used to booking one ways, that's a hang up with ANA. You're going to have to book it round trip.
Right. But not with Air Canada.
Not with Air Canada, not with most other programs.
Yep.
Okay. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. All right. Michael asks, given the Virgin Atlantic devaluation, somebody mentioned one of my keyboard keys. I'll have to check. Given the VS devaluation, would it be a good idea to make a speculative ANA partner booking to avoid further devaluation? And what are the risks? So is that the same person asking? No, it's not the same person.
No.
Speculative ANA. So because Virgin Atlantic has the sweet spot for ANA first class. So asking whether it's better to make a speculative ANA first class partner booking through Virgin Atlantic to avoid getting, losing your opportunity for that.
Right. I mean, I think it's a good, if you can find a time with the award availability and there's a reasonably good chance you'd actually fly it, I think it's a good idea to do that. I kind of doubt, like, if your plan is to sort of lock in the pricing and then change the award to a different time period, I kind of doubt Virgin Atlantic would honor that if they have since devalued that award. But I guess it's theoretically possible they would.
I think your risk is if you're transferring to Virgin Atlantic to do it, they just totally, slaughtered the Delta awards. Now, Greg's saying maybe it won't be as bad as it initially looked, but you're risking having miles like stuck in Virgin Atlantic that are much less useful today than they were a few weeks ago, and who knows how much less useful yet they'll become if they devalue other partner bookings. So I'd really hesitate to make a transfer if you have Virgin Atlantic miles already. Then there's very little risk.
That's kind of what I assume the question was saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who transferred to make bookings and that got canceled, so they have a lot of Virgin Atlantic miles, or maybe they signed up for the credit cards. I remember not long ago you teasing me for not putting the Virgin Atlantic credit card offer in the my top picks.
I take that back. It doesn't belong in the January top picks, that's for sure. So yeah, no. Well, and if that's the case for you, then I mean, almost no risk. It's such a cheap cancellation fee that Virgin Atlantic charges, like $50 or something, right? So very little risk in making a speculative booking. I would go ahead and do that if you've got a ton of miles.
Right.
Might as well.
Right.
All right, so Brant, that's your turn, I think, right?
Okay, Brant says, another blogger who shall remain unmentioned thought that Sonesta isn't much of a program. Thoughts?
My thought is that Greg wrote a post about the Sonesta credit card, and so he probably remembers more about the Sonesta program than I do. But I'll add to whatever he's going to say that Sonesta did bring or just pick up a whole bunch of former IHG properties, so they do have a bunch more properties now. I don't know. Was the program worth anything when you looked at it?
I think didn't they also just pick up like the Red Lion or whatever it is
Something.
chain?
They picked up something.
So anyway, they're expanding quickly. Oh my God, I barely remember my post at all. I mean, what I remember is that the credit card had some reasons to be if you'd be staying at those properties. I mean, I remember it being like thinking, oh, this is a good deal if you're going to be staying. What I can't differentiate in my memory is did that have anything to do with the program or the credit card, or was it a married combination of the both? I don't know. I need to reread my post and maybe update it.
So the answer there is to go to frequentmiler.com and in the search box type in Sonesta, and you'll clearly find Greg's post about the Sonesta credit card, because that's probably the only thing we've ever written about Sonesta, and that'll probably give you the the breakdown of it. So yeah, I don't know anything about the Sonesta program. It hadn't interested me before, because I remember when I read Greg's post, I don't remember what it was worth either, but I remember thinking, meh, and I wasn't that interested in Sonesta. And I have never run into a situation where I've been like, oh, I want to stay at this Sonesta hotel. So I haven't had the need to dig into it yet, but maybe that's something we should dig into.
Yeah. I think the issue back then was that there were very few properties, or at least very few in the U.S., something like that.
Yeah, I think there were very few. So, so now there are a lot more, maybe.
Now there's
maybe
a lot,
yeah.
All right.
All right. So Larry asks us, right? You guys going to shop on the internet every month to spend $30 on PayPal? Or if you figured out a set it and forget it option, might be worth a post. I'd love to find a recurring $30 PayPal charge. What do you think?
Oh, there must be a lot of easy $30 PayPal charges. Yeah, I mean, I figured that I feel like I encounter just in my normal day-to-day activities enough opportunities to pay by PayPal that I don't think it's going to be a problem. It just like I normally, like when checking out online for something, I normally ignore the PayPal button, but now I'll press it. I did just the other day. And there's even in-store options to pay with PayPal in some places. So so that's my plan. But yeah, I think that's a reasonably good idea for a post if we can come up with or if some readers can suggest a good, easy way to just set and forget. That would be nice.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything off the top of my head for that, because I, like Greg, I feel like I buy enough stuff online all the time where PayPal is an option for checkout, and I just don't usually bother with it because it doesn't really, add any benefit to me. But now that it does, I won't ignore it once a month. So I think I'll probably just naturally use it, or at least that would have been my plan. But I'm intrigued by the idea of finding a set it and forget it. So we'll have to look for that.
Now, one thing, there are some things like flus where you can buy gift cards and get a rebate when you buy them, and you can pay with PayPal. If you do $30 worth of gift cards each month, you're going to get some cash back in your flus account that you could use for other gift cards, or I think you could maybe cash it out as well. And you would trigger the credit. So I don't think $30 worth of gift cards is going to get Amex clawing back anything. So I wouldn't worry about that. So I don't know that that's automated, but that's super easy. Something you could just do once a month.
Yeah. I mean, you set a reminder on your phone to buy a gift card once a month. That should be a pretty easy one. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good idea. But I'm curious to look for, just for the challenge of it now, to look for something recurring that makes sense. So we'll have to look for that. All right. So then Champ is next, right?
Okay. So Champ says, "Hey, Greg and Nick, Happy New Year." Happy New Year, Champ.
Happy New Year.
As a victim of the recent Virgin Atlantic devaluation, thoughts on dumping my 140K miles to Hilton for best value? Are airline cards a bust going forward?
Ooh. I probably wouldn't transfer him to Hilton yet. I'd hold out hope that you're able to book something decent. If you got 140,000, you got more than enough for round trip first class ANA. I'd hold on to them until they devalue ANA. I doubt they'll devalue the transfer to Hilton. I don't think so. That'll probably still be there if and when they devalue ANA. I'd probably hang on to them, hoping I could use them for ANA anyway. That's what I would do. What do you think?
Yeah. Also, there are still sweet spots with Virgin Atlantic worth considering. So with Delta, at least as of right now, it doesn't look great, but short haul flights, like especially like to some out of the way places, are often very expensive with Delta and with Delta miles. But now you could get them as low as I think it's 7,500 miles one way. So like I checked just for example, when we fly to Florida, it's always like crazy expensive to fly to Melbourne, Florida, versus Orlando, which is an hour away. So we'll always fly to Orlando and do the extra drive. But with this, like there's an easy, it's only 7,500 points from Atlanta to Melbourne. So, you know, I might use Virgin Atlantic miles for that, just as one example. I think you'll see better examples. I just don't know them off the top of my head where you're going to like another country on a short distance. You know, flying from maybe Florida to, if there are such flights, to the Caribbean on Delta, for example. I think you'll find some really good values there.
And Air France.
Another thing.
Air France, Scott.
So that's what I was going to mention. Air France booking Air France and KLM with Virgin Atlantic miles is a very good deal in business class, or at least it's nearly as good as the old Delta deal was. But it's an incredible deal flying Air France premium economy. The award prices for premium economy are dirt cheap on Virgin Atlantic. So yeah, there's sort of like a handful of miscellaneous things that are still worth it.
And that would be intriguing if you're a family flyer, potentially, because you would expect that Air France would release a lot more premium cabin availability than business class, premium economy availability than business class availability. So theoretically, at least, you could get 4 or 5 passengers in premium economy, and with 140,000 miles, you could get 4 or 5 passengers to Europe in premium economy with the Air France pricing. But I say theoretically because at some point, like all of the premium economy availability dried up, and I don't know what's going on with the whole COVID thing. So
yeah, I think it was tied to COVID. You know, I think that for some reason when COVID hit, they just took away all premium economy availability from Air France, and I don't know why. But so I'm hoping that at some point it'll normalize and go back, because before COVID, or at least when I last checked premium economy award availability, it was like wide open. Like every route I checked that went across the Atlantic had usually had at least 9 award seats available on premium economy, which is just means basically they were all available.
Right. So if you're looking to fly a whole crew with you, you want to fly a basketball team, or maybe even a football team, you might be able to do it, with your miles. So yeah, I would hang on to them as Virgin Atlantic. I wouldn't transfer them. Second part of that question, just real quickly, are airline cards a bust going forward? Are airline cards just a bad deal because you never know when they're going to devalue overnight, like Virgin Atlantic did?
Well, I'd say airline cards became a bad deal a while ago when transferable points cards became a big deal and started offering bonus points and everything. Like, once Chase started offering the Sapphire Preferred about 11 or 12 years ago with, the ability to transfer to a bunch of different airline programs and earn 2x, not just for flying one airline, but for travel on any kind of travel. That was revolutionary at the time. Now, of course, it seems quaint, but the point is that is what made airline cards a bad investment back then. I don't see anything has particularly changed about that equation now. It's still the same thing, that airline cards serve a purpose because of special perks they have, not because of like they're earning miles. So, different airline cards might have things like a companion ticket that comes with it, or help you get elite status, or there's a lot of different things that they have, and free check bags. It can be worth sometimes paying the annual fee just for that alone. So that hasn't changed. Whatever those perks, if they're good perks, if you value them more than the annual fee, it's still worth getting it. Otherwise, transferable points are where the action's at.
Spending on airline credit cards became a bust a long time ago, so that hasn't changed. Like spending on those cards is usually not a good deal. That's what it comes down to. Getting the welcome bonus and the ancillary benefits are still good values.
Still good. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
I think it's my turn to read. This question's from Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Hi guys, I was planning on trying to apply for Alaska's BofA card, but I just Normally people say BofA's Alaska card, but anyway, I just picked up 2 Chase cards in December. Are they velocity sensitive, or do you think I could apply 30 days after the last card?
I don't think it probably will matter much. I mean, it's weird times right now, so I don't know. I mean, hard to say, but I probably would think that'll be okay with Bank of America if it's going to be okay. Bank of America's gotten kind of weird on approvals. Sometimes they'll ask you to like open a CD or something in order to get approved, and so like, that wasn't a thing a few years ago. But the last year or two here has they've gotten a little weird on approvals. So maybe you could run into a problem, but generally speaking, I would think that'd be fine. If that's all you've opened recently, just 2 Chase cards, I would think that'd probably be fine to open the Bank of America card whenever, right?
That would be my guess. Yeah, you never know when a bank's going to be sensitive to recent inquiries or new apps or new opened applications, but yeah, my guess
And,
is
and
it'd
there's
be
so
fine.
many more variables, like there's a
Right.
lot of other like your income and credit profile and everything. Like it's really hard to predict because there's a lot of variables, and even somebody that works at Bank of America probably couldn't tell you because they don't know all the stuff that goes into the algorithm. So it's hard to give you a definitive answer, but anecdotally, I would think probably you're fine.
Yeah, it is a good point though about having other banking products. Like we know that Bank of America has a sort of 524-ish rule of their own, and they apply it differently for those who have a bank account with Bank of America. So
Yep.
it's worth getting in on, especially when Bank of America is having one of those new account bonuses. Get in on it, get an account, and keep enough in there to keep it free and keep them happy with you, so you have less rules against you. Nick, you're muted again. And so I will move on to ask Michael's question. Oh, you're back.
Yep.
You can.
Yep. Okay. So Michael then asks us, hi guys, what are your thoughts on foregoing the sign up bonus on a credit card, specifically 3 Blue Business Plus? Oh no, I think he means the Blue Business Plus. I have the pop up and want to get business Amex offers and 2 points per dollar. So what he's saying is he's getting the pop up that says no sign up bonus for you. Is it still worth signing up for the card? Because then he'll get additional Amex offers and 2 points per dollar, no annual fee. What do you think? Is it worth signing up without a bonus?
It it can be. If you're playing in 2-player mode, then you can, your significant other, whoever it is, could refer you, and they would still get a referral bonus even if you don't get a sign-up bonus. So if you're going to do it, I'd say do it that way. So I think there is some reason to do that. Keep in mind, if you get a Blue Business Plus card now, there might be some offers you're not eligible for because, as we said at the beginning of the show, Amex is starting to have offers that come out that say you must have been a card holder by November 1st of 2020. But in the future, there will certainly be ones that say you must be a card holder by February 1st or whatever. And so, it would be putting you in the right place to get that. That's a good card to have in general to keep your membership rewards points active with no annual fee. And 2 points per dollar is nothing to sneeze at under normal times. I feel like these days, like I haven't even looked at that card because there's so many bonus offers for so many different cards. But
nobody's got time for that right now. 2x is quaint. Greg just said it's quaint, Amex. So but no, I agree. And the typical bonus on that card is only 10,000 points. And I say the typical bonus, that's if you sign up through a referral. Otherwise, usually that card comes with no bonus. So the 10K, now some people get targeted for 20K, but at most you're giving up is 20K. Probably you're giving up like 10K in order to get it without the bonus. And that's a small enough number of membership rewards points that I would be inclined to go after that. Now, if it was a card like the gold card that's got a 60,000 point welcome bonus, I wouldn't probably be in a hurry to sign up for that without a welcome bonus. So Blue Business Plus, I could see the case for opening that.
There you go.
All right. Speaking of the gold card, we got to ask another question that makes sense here. So I'm going to ask this one to you. Do you know when the Amex Gold Uber benefit will start?
I thought it was starting like this month, but I don't know.
No, it still says early 2020.
Oh, okay. All right. I just sort of You're muted again. I just sort of had it in my head that it was, I guess when it came out last year that this was happening, I sort of had in my head early in 2021. It must be starting in January. So I'm surprised to hear that it's
No,
not
it
out
still
yet.
says in like the online account coming in early 2021, when you log into your gold account, your gold card account, it says that like under the list of AMEX offers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know whether it'll come out in January at all. We might miss a whole month of Uber credit.
Certainly possible. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why that, like, what are they waiting for?
Right.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's like they have all the tech there. What's going on?
Right. I have no idea. So yeah. So I don't know. My computer is continuing to wig out here. So yeah.
You only have just 10 more minutes, and then
Right. I could restart it. Okay. All right. So then go ahead. You go with the next
Yuri, one. I think, is that the next one? Yes. Yuri says, I stayed at Hyatt Resort and checked out on the 1st of January, but there's no trace of my stay on Hyatt's website so far. What should I do?
Relax. it probably, I mean, I said that kind of joking because I wrote a post the other day saying, relax, your elite stuff will post. These first few days of the year are always a little bit glitchy, and things like taking a little time to show up and whatnot. Now, I would have expected that to have posted by now. So it's possible that something, went haywire and it didn't post right. But I would probably still give it like at least until maybe the 10th or so. And if you haven't seen it by then I would send a message to the Hyatt Twitter concierge. They're always pretty good about fixing that kind of stuff. So they can probably fix it for you quickly. You could probably reach out to them today, but if you don't need the status from that stay for like another 3 months, I'd probably just wait and let it happen automatically.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen great variability from stay to stay as to how quickly things post from Hyatt. And I think it has to do a lot with the hotel itself.
Yeah.
I actually get the impression that at some or most of the Hyatts, there's like a manual process after checkout that they go through and do something that gets the stay into the Hyatt system. And some of those hotels probably have someone come in, someone doing it every day, and other hotels might have someone do it once a week.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is. So yeah, just wait.
Yeah. So I would just wait. Yeah, it's probably going to post, and if it doesn't, you'll be able to get it fixed. And don't worry about like, if I wait 2 weeks, then I won't be able to get it fixed. Or at least I wouldn't worry about that. I had a stay a couple years ago, year before last, that was in October, and I didn't realize until like January that I didn't get the elite credit for it. And quick message to the Hyatt Twitter concierge with a copy of my folio, because I had a copy of it, so I had the receipt or something, and I was able to get it credited in January for the stay in October. So I wouldn't be worried at all that like it's going to disappear and you're never going to get it. I would just give it a few days. All right. So Michael then asks, any progress on another 40K to far away challenge? Maybe a new challenge for each continent or class of service. Also, are you still looking for feedback on credit card insurance / benefit claims? So, okay, 2 different questions there. First one, any progress on 40K to far away? What do you think?
The only progress we made is that we decided that if whatever we do, it'll probably be towards the end of this year, because we're gonna wait until things are clearer about the travel situation, because I still want to do one that involves heavy amount of travel. Obviously wouldn't be practical to do anytime soon. So we'll wait and see. But no, I don't expect we'll have any kind of announcement until, late summer, maybe.
Yeah. I wouldn't think, barring some magical change in the world situation that we don't anticipate, I would imagine late summer is probably the soonest that you're going to hear any more about that. It's not that we don't have ideas. It's just that, even if it were like all of a sudden everybody said, okay, you know what, everybody can travel, forget about it. Like, we're not going to do anything about this COVID thing. You can go where you want to go. I still wouldn't be getting on a plane tomorrow. So I'm not going to fly halfway around the world yet anyway. So probably, not until late this year. And that, we're just as disappointed about that as anybody else. I'm itching to get out there and do some stuff and travel too. It's just not the right time.
Oh my God. When I think back about the kind of travel we did,
oh my goodness,
was it October of 2019, just about 6 months before the pandemic shut everything down. It's just like insane to think about that kind of travel now.
It is. It's crazy how insane that
how
seems.
could we have done that?
Right. It just feels I don't know, wrong in some way, but crazy.
Same time, it's so much fun. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
And yes, we are always looking for feedback on credit card insurance benefit claims. If you've had experience, reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Always love to hear that. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Devin says, do you think Southwest should extend their 2-month promotional companion pass that starts tomorrow since travel restrictions are still alive and well? Figure it's a long shot, but curious of y'all's thoughts.
I only vaguely remember. I think I would have forgotten about this altogether if you hadn't mentioned it, and I only vaguely remember what the deal was.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, there was
a 2-month
something.
promotional.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think you had to like fly a certain number of flights, and you got it for like January and February.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and it was a couple months ago, I think, right? Like September, October, or something or other. I can't remember exactly what the details were, but should they extend it? Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it would be the right thing to do to extend it for sure. Yeah. But will they? I have no idea.
Well, related question that comes up from time to time. So what about people who earned the Southwest Companion Pass in early 2020? Because you got 2 of the credit cards, the year before. You earned it like January. You should have had it for 2 full years, and you got like robbed of all of last year's travel. And now you have one set to expire December 31st this year. A, do you think Southwest should extend that Companion Pass? And B, do you think they will?
Yes and no. My guess. I mean... Yeah. So I definitely think they should. That they made a promise, which I mean, it's not their fault that they couldn't keep the promise, but to be able to use your companion pass and you can't, so they should do something to make it right. Will they? I mean, I don't know. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like say anyone who has companion pass and 2021 here, if you fly this many times, we'll extend it into 2022, something like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to handle it. Maybe. So we'll see, Devin. Part of the problem, I think, is if they extend that 2-month one, then what about the people who they extended 6 months? What are they going to do with that? Because those people are going to next come with their, handout saying, "Hey, what's in it for me, guys?" So and then it's just a domino thing.
Yeah. What about you? Do you think they'll just automatically extend them?
I don't think so. I think it'll depend on how things develop over the next 6 months. I think there's a non-zero chance. So I told somebody today that they will extend it. I think there's definitely a chance that they'll extend it because there's not much travel going on. But as the vaccine rolls out, I could definitely see them having the perspective that, well, I mean, you can fly. If you choose not to, that's fine, but they're not going to necessarily extend it. I could see them taking that stance too if travel kind of rebounds. But the way things are looking right now, I think my bet is they're going to extend them all 6 months. So the people that are set to expire in June, they'll extend to December, and the people set to expire in December, they'll extend to next June is my bet, but I wouldn't bet a lot of money.
That's that's very reasonable. That makes a lot of sense to me. So
yeah. So
I would if there was gambling going on, I think I would side with your bet.
That's where I'd put my money, but not very much of it. Okay, so Mohammed says, what are some thoughts? Did I miss something? No, I didn't miss something. Mohammed said, what are some good Delta SkyMiles redemptions in in economy class? What are the best SkyMiles redemptions in economy class, Greg?
Well, I mean, before you get into economy class, go into the Sky Club and order a premium drink, and you'll get 2 cents per point value that way. But no, the Delta best values are kind of random in that when they do have some good sales that are not always advertised, and so you can often get really great deals, especially in economy, with their miles. But it's anyone's guess, what those routes are that have those deals. So I don't have think off the top of my head, what's a common great deal. But you have something.
Well, I do have two things. So Stephen gave an interruption and made a good point that sometimes round trip tickets in the past have priced out cheaper than two one ways. So you may want to check
Yes,
round
actually,
trip
that's
to
common.
start.
Yep.
And then the other thing is Druid Travel is Free created a tool to search for the cheapest Delta redemptions from any particular airport, the cheapest economy redemptions. So if you type in travel is free Delta, calculator or something like that into Google, you should find it. And so that calculator, if you put in your home airport, let's say Atlanta's your home airport, you type in ATL, it'll show you the cheapest redemptions, and that'll be the cheapest price. Now I don't know when the data was based on. I don't imagine it's been updated.
That's the problem. I don't think it's been updated, and that was a
yeah,
point in time, and I think
yeah,
those things do change
yeah.
quite regularly. So it might give you an idea,
Let's
but
give you an idea.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth looking at. And no, Steven's point about round trip, that's a really good one. I mean, I've actually saved money by throwing away returns on award tickets with Delta. So that's something to consider. And sometimes you could do it creatively. Like, so they'll treat something as a round trip if you return to somewhere in the right direction. So, for example, I wrote a post about this once where I was flying to New York, I think it was, and it was crazy expensive for when I wanted to go. Um, and I found that flights the other way to Chicago were really cheap. So I put in a one way to New York with a return to Chicago, and that made it way cheaper than the one way or round trip back to Detroit. Um, there's a whole issues around doing too many throwaway tickets. I wouldn't do that a lot, but to do it once in a while like that is not a problem, especially throwing away the return is less of a problem than throwing away a segment on a one way.
There you go. All right. I agree. So last question then. Scott asked a good question. This is a good question because I'm actually not sure what the answer is. Hopefully you know. Can I use a Hyatt suite upgrade if my stay is using free night vouchers? So if you're using like one of those category 1 to 4, category 1 to 7 vouchers, can you still use a Hyatt suite upgrade?
No,
I didn't think so.
You can't use the suite upgrade. You can't use the
I knew you couldn't use the club
lounge.
lounge.
Yeah.
I think so. That's why I figured you probably couldn't use the suite night, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend doing in that case?
Maybe
Any way around it?
maybe the concierge can find a way around it. I mean, those are the rules. I don't know why they have those rules. That's a really
Seems so
strange
silly.
thing. I mean, not like even Marriott doesn't have that restriction. Their free nights booked with the certs are treated exactly the same as free nights booked with points. I don't know why they would do that. No, I don't have any. I don't know any workarounds.
So what happened with me with Club Lounge Access? I stayed at the Hyatt Regency Tokyo a year or two ago, and so what I did was I was there more than one night. So I booked 3 nights using points, and then the last night of my stay using a free night certificate. And then I asked the Hyatt Twitter concierge to apply my Club Lounge upgrade, and the Twitter concierge told me, just so you know, you can't use that on the free night cert, so you're going to have to change rooms, or you're not going to get Club Lounge access for the last night. I said, yep, I get it, I understand, that's fine. And I figured probably, and I was right, that they weren't going to tell me I had to get out of the lounge that last day in Tokyo. So nobody from check-in, it was like, here's your key, you got lounge access all the way through, blah blah blah. And I didn't ask, like, are you sure I get it on the night with the free night certificate? I just didn't question it. Key's still open the lounge. So I would think that there is a slim chance that they're going to make you switch rooms for that last night unless there's a lot of demand. So that's what I would do. I'd book a night or two with points ahead of them.
That's a great point. The other thing is I had to make a decision recently. Do I book? I had a small luxury hotel stay, 30K stay. Do I book it with points where I would get 25% back because I have the Hyatt credit card and there's that promo going on, or do I use my category 1 through 7 free night certificate, which is good up to 30K points? And I kind of had a little bit of a tough decision, but part of the saving grace for using the certificate and not getting the point rebate is that I'd rather, you can't use suite upgrades on SLH properties anyway. So I didn't have that problem so, you could use it at times where it's not an option anyway.
That's a great point.
To do the upgrade.
Great point.
Anyway.
And Steven said that his concierge was not able to apply the suite upgrade, but she did put a note down for the hotel requesting a suite for the three free night certificates. So you can ask nicely, but they aren't going to apply it probably.
Right. Okay. All right. Our time's up.
Yes, it is. Thank
That's
you guys
it.
very much for being with us today. We always appreciate it. Come see us again soon.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you 2 weeks from now.